This is Optimal Living Daily, episode 36, The Shockingly Simple Math Behind Early Retirement by Mr. Money Mustache of MrMoneyMustache.com.
Get ready to maximize your potential with Optimal Living Daily, the podcast that brings you the best in personal development and productivity every day of the week. Your optimal life awaits. Now here's your host, Justin Malik.
Hey there, welcome to OLD, that is Optimal Living Daily. This podcast was created for you so that you can take some of your favorite blogs on the go and not have to worry about sitting down to read them individually. Think of it as an audio blog or a blogcast, finding you the best content on the web. Today I'm reading to you a post from Mr. Money Mustache himself, the dude that retired at age 30, and this one is exactly about that, how easy it really is to retire early and how exactly you can do it. Like yesterday, there are no ads in today's episode because I'm sponsoring myself. So all I ask is that you stick around to the end and listen to the whole episode, because instead of reading an ad to you, I'm going to do the opposite and actually give you a gift to go along with this episode. So I'll tell you more about that after reading this post. For now, let's start optimizing your life. The Shockingly Simple Math Behind Early Retirement by Mr. Money Mustache of MrMoneyMustache.com. Here at Mr. Money Mustache, we talk about all sorts of fancy stuff like investment fundamentals, lifestyle changes that save money, entrepreneurial ideas that help you make money, and philosophy that allows you to make these changes a positive thing instead of a sacrifice. In addition, the internet presents us with retirement calculators, competing opinions from the mainstream media, financial doomsayers, unpredictable inflation, and a wide distribution of income and spending patterns between readers. I reviewed my own path to age 30 retirement in the post, A Brief History of the Stash. Then I did a hypothetical calculation using 2 average teacher salaries to show how long it would take them to retire in the post, The Race to Retirement Revisited. Because of this torrent of information, people tend to become overwhelmed and say things like, "Yeah, good for you, Mr. Money Mustache, but how can I possibly know when I'll have enough to retire myself with a completely different lifestyle?" Well, I have a surprise for you. It turns out that when it boils right down to it, your time to reach retirement depends on only one factor: your savings rate as a percentage of your take-home pay. If you want to break it down just a bit further, your savings rate is determined entirely by these two things: how much you take home each year, how much you can live on. While the numbers themselves are quite intuitive and easy to figure out, the relationship between these two numbers is a bit surprising. If you are spending 100% or more of your income, you will never be prepared to retire unless someone else is doing the saving for you, wealthy parents, Social Security, pension fund, etc. So your work career will be infinite. If you're spending 0% of your income, you live for free somehow, and can maintain this after retirement, you can retire right now. So your working career can be 0. In between, there are some very interesting considerations. As soon as you start saving and investing your money, it starts earning money all by itself. Then the earnings on those earnings start earning their own money. It can quickly become a runaway exponential snowball of income. As soon as this income is enough to pay for your living expenses, while leaving enough of the gains invested each year to keep up with inflation, you are ready to retire. If you drew this on a graph, it would not be a straight line, it would be a nice curved exponential graph. If you save a reasonable percentage of your take-home pay, like 50%, and live on the remaining 50%, you'll be ready to rock, aka financially independent, in a reasonable number of years, about 16, according to this chart and a more detailed spreadsheet I just made for myself to recreate the equation that generated the graph. So let's take the graph above and make it even simpler. I'll make some conservative assumptions for you, and you can just focus on saving the biggest percentage of your take-home pay that you can. The table below will tell you a nice ballpark figure of how many years it will take you to become financially independent. Assumptions. You can earn 5% investment returns after inflation during your saving years. You'll live off of the 4% safe withdrawal rate after retirement, with some flexibility in your spending during recessions. You want your stash to last forever. You'll only be touching the gains since this income may be sustaining you for 70 years or so. Just think of this assumption as a nice, generous safety margin. Here's how many years you will have to work for a range of possible savings rates starting from a net worth of 0. savings rate of 5%, 66 working years until retirement. At a savings rate of 20%, 37 working years until retirement. At a savings rate of 40%, 22 working years until retirement. Savings rate of 50%, 17 years until retirement. Savings rate 70%, 8.5 years until retirement. Saving 80%, 5.5 years until retirement. It's quite amazing, especially at the less mustachian end of the spectrum. A middle-class family with a $50K take-home pay who saves 10% of their income, $5,000, is actually better than average these days. But unfortunately, better than average is still pretty bad since they are on track for having to work for 51 years. But simply cutting cable TV and a few lattes would instantly boost their savings to 15%, allowing them to retire 8 years earlier. Are cable TV and Starbucks worth having 2 income earners each work an extra 8 years for? The most important thing to note is that cutting your spending rate is much more powerful than increasing your income. The reason is that every permanent drop in your spending has a double effect. It increases the amount of money you have left over to save each month, and it permanently decreases the amount you'll need every month for the rest of your life. So your lifetime passive income goes up due to having a larger investment nest egg, and it more easily meets your needs because you've developed more skill at living efficiently and thus you need less. If you want to retire within 10 years, the formula is right there in front of you. Simply live on 35% of your take-home pay, which is approximately what I did without even realizing it during my own younger years. The only reason mustachians will remain a rare breed is because this article will never appear in USA Today. Or if it does, people will be too busy complaining about how it can't be done rather than figuring out how to do it. You just listened to the post titled, The Shockingly Simple Math Behind Early Retirement by Mr. Money Mustache of MrMoneyMustache.com. And a quick note that he defines home pay as gross income minus all taxes. And remember to add back in any 401k or other savings deductions to the paycheck you see, since these are really part of what you are taking home. You just happen to be saving it automatically. So that was a nice and quick, inspiring and financial post about how you really can retire early. And to me, that is insane that if you save 35%, or actually the opposite, if you live on 35% of your take-home pay, you can retire within 10 years. That is a goal we should all strive for. Now, I've mentioned in past episodes that I have a money tracking spreadsheet challenge for you, but as of today, I also have a new, really small and fun spreadsheet to go with this episode. And what that is a spreadsheet where you can simply type in your paycheck or the paycheck you'd like to have, your savings rate, like, if you're going to save 10% of that, and then see how your life changes. So I built that off this article. And it also comes with instructions, and that will be sent to you for free if you're part of my mailing list over at oldpodcast.com. And you'll also get my automated money tracking spreadsheet too, which I mentioned earlier. And that comes with a video tutorial of me showing you how to use it. Again, all free. And all you have to do is type in your email over at oldpodcast.com. Plus, I'll have non-spreadsheet related gifts to those of you on there as well. So hopefully I'll see you there so that you can retire in 10 years or fewer, where your optimal life awaits.
You've been listening to Optimal Living Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode and head to oldpodcast.com. That's OLDpodcast.com for a free gift as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.